Artbeads Fab Friday because, well, A, it's Friday. So, you know, that's good. That's something, right? And we're here. All of the serious art beaters are hanging out together, and that is always wonderful. And, you know, I just think that sometimes we need to sit and talk about beads and talk about jewelry making because sometimes the world is kind of weird and there's a lot going on, and maybe there's a lot going on in your personal life and you just need a moment to just relax and have a very fab Friday. Hello, everybody. It's January 9th, 2026. I hope everybody is having a great week or had a great week. I see my friends Thaisa and Michelle are here. Hello, ladies. Thank you for being here. Mary from KC is here and Kim Caldwell is here. Jane from Long Island. Hello, Jane. Thanks, you guys, for being here. Mary says hello to all of the art beaters. So this is a place where all the serious art beaters hang out. I mean, where else would we be on a Friday afternoon? So, you guys, it is January 9th, and right now there's a little offer going on to support small business. We are offering a free domestic shipping, free USA shipping for orders over $26. That's not hard to do, you guys, and we all love our free shipping, right? Whenever we can get free shipping, it's all about getting the free shipping. So if you're gonna, if you're spending like $24, like, you want to find that extra thing to get to $26 so you can get the free shipping. I mean, come on, it's costs a lot to ship now. Oh, you guys. So thank you for being here. Let's see who else is here. I saw a bunch of names pop through. You guys always pop up so fast. Tina is here. Hello, Tina. Hi, BJ from Ohio. Lou is here. Thanks for being here. Hello from Indy is here. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Definitely weird. Deanna Weaver is here from North Carolina. Oh, Hannah from Iceland is here. Thank you, Hannah, for being here. Gina says this is the place to be. Thank you, guys. Laura Rang, My Beaded Bliss. Hello. Thanks for being here, you guys. Ellen in New Jersey is here. Carolyn in Oregon says she's not getting dressed today. Ellen, the only reason I got dressed today was because of this. I was not dressed otherwise. That's the only reason. I was in like my PJs all day. Gail C is here. Jan T is here. Ellen is saying she meant to say her beading friends. Yes, of course. Sandra from Indiana is here. Santa Barbara girl, thank you so much. Let's see who else. Edna is here as well. So, you guys, $26 and over gets you free US shipping. And there's a deal of the week. It's a little seed bead blend. I don't have it handy, unfortunately, but you are going to love this seed bead blend because it's going to go nicely with the season. It's the season of Valentine's Day. We went from fall, Thanksgiving to Christmas to New Year's, and now we're already at Valentine's Day. So it's a very beautiful blend made here at artbeads.com. So you're going to love it, of course. And it's going to go great with anything. Doesn't have to be Valentine's Day. So that is with any purchase. So that's going to be dropped in your bag. You'll get that wrapped up with all of your other goodies, which is always so fun to find something that you didn't expect or you didn't pay for in your bag. So that's the scoop for today. And just as a reminder, if you're watching at artbeads.com/live, that's the best place to watch the show live because I can see your comments. You can chat with me and Michelle and Thaisa or the team to support you today, and you can chat with each other, which you're already doing. You guys all know each other by now. And if you're new here, we welcome you, and we hope that you will join in and share in the fun. You can also share the show by clicking on the arrow. You can share the love by clicking on the heart, and you can shop the show by clicking on that little shopping bag. So There will be shopping links or shoppable links throughout the course of the show. But if you don't want to wait for that, you can click on that shopping bag and it will open up a screen that gives you everything that's in the show and a little bit more. And that is something you can do while you watch. I don't go away. You can still hear me and see me. So you can shop while you watch, which is pretty cool. Hi, Laura D. Hi, who was that before that? Hi, Gussie. Welcome, you guys. So you can even shop the show on replay as well. So if you are watching at artbeads.com/live and you come over to look at some shows on demand, which you can do anytime, any place, you can shop the show. So if the items are still available in the shopping cart, you should be able to put them, if the items are still in the shopping bag, you should still be able to put them in your shopping cart and get them home to you. So I need to let you in on one thing before I switch the camera. So this morning, just about 3 hours before the show, I had a catastrophic failure of my camera and light situation. So I have a light that has, it's a ring up here and you put the camera on it. Well, it broke like this. And it flops around and there's absolutely no way to fix it. But thankfully, my husband, who is Superman, saved the day. He used his cat house building experience and took a cardboard box and made it into a way that my camera I can still use my equipment. The unit just leans right on top of the cardboard box. So yes, camera and light down, Texas Tracy. Oh man. So the quality of the lighting, not exactly what I would like it to be. I had to move these lights around and I'm in a cardboard box. Let me show you. You guys might kind of enjoy this. Let me show you what I got going. So, oops, that's the way. So here's my light here. So this is the light. And this is the little mechanical bar here. And this is the cardboard box. So we've got a cardboard box situation going on. And I say this only to say, please be patient with me because I'm going to give you the best show I can today with this setup. I've not practiced much with it. I got my hands in here earlier. But I'm going to give you the best show that I can today with this setup and frankly, until that new light shows up, which I got my shipping notice already. So it's on its way. So we're all good. Thank you for the kind and the hearts, you guys. So here's the inside of the cardboard box and my hands inside the cardboard box. Let me straighten out this guy. So, oh my gosh. Francie, he's not an engineer by trade, but boy, he should have been because he rigged this up. We did a couple different prototypes. Like we got this going in an hour. And I was ready to run out and try and find something else in town. And so anyways, thank you guys. Thank you for your patience. So we're going to make today, a ladder necklace. So I don't know if you guys saw the one I was wearing. Let me take that off. I'm going to drop this into the box. This is, and what you're seeing in front of you is a ladder necklace, but this is a ladder necklace that I made earlier in the year. And some of you may recognize these beads. This was made with one of our bead strand assortments, our Czech Glass bead strand assortment. And this style of a necklace, I call it a ladder necklace because we've created some little steps here, or what looks to be rungs in a ladder, in the center of the necklace. Now there's lots of variations of a ladder necklace, and I intended today to do 2 different ones, but because of my cardboard box situation, we're just going to do one because it will be much easier when I've got a better setup to show you the more difficult one. So we're going to make one that is not unlike this one. And similar, see, I'm already hitting the box. Got to be careful of the box. All right, moving this necklace out of the way. Not dissimilar to this one also. So this one is with all kinds of Czech glass. So we've got a bunch of different glass in this one. And you can see in this case, I've got several rungs on my ladder, 5 of them to be exact, and some interesting, fun metallic accents at the bottom. So showing you there's all kinds of fun things you can do with this kind of ladder design. Now, this one off to the side is really an easy kind of easy version of what we would have done today. And this is all done with chain and these little 3, if I can get this to go right, these little 3-hole spacer beads. So we've attached these little 3-hole spacers to the chain, and then I just dangled a beautiful Czech glass bead in the center hole. So it's creating 3 rungs on the ladder, and then the chain just kind of curves around at the bottom. Now, this one is very simplistic compared to what my plan was for today. So what I wanted to do was a combination of chain and beads. But today we're just going to do this one. I promise you in February, I will do a part 2 and we will do something that's in between these 2 designs. And we're going to have fun because it's even something we can do for an earring design. So maybe we'll make a necklace and earring set that is a ladder style. And it will be very different than both of these, but kind of in between these 2 in terms of techniques. So I want to show you, first of all, what I used for these necklaces. So if you're interested and you want to understand both of these, this chain necklace, for starters, I used a 4mm silver-plated Rolo chain. This is sold by the foot. I think I needed at least 2 feet for this piece. I know I bought or I picked up 3 feet. So there's actually about 2 feet in this design. This is a nice, bright, shiny Rolo chain. And because I was making attachments to it, it was nice to have these big links. So if you're interested in a design with the chain, this is a great chain to pick up. It's a really nice, easy chain, big links to work with. So this one was great to use for this design. Now, those little links in between that are creating the rungs on the ladder, those are tiara cast. And they are a 5mm pewter 3-hole nugget spacer bar. So they're technically intended to be going in this direction with beads on either side of them, and they would connect a 3-string bracelet or a 3-strand bracelet. So that's what I used to make those rungs on the ladder. And then bead-wise, these beautiful kind of garnet shaded beads are great for you January birthday girls. These are Czech glass. They are 10mm spiral faceted round garnet red. So they have this fun little twisty look to them, but they still have facets, and that rich garnet color is just gorgeous. So this design really just intended to be easy peasy, just making those rungs on the ladder, adding some color, and letting all of those silvery metal tones just kind of be their own thing. So I love, love, love this necklace. And it's a kind of thing you can add a lobster claw to and make it sizable. So it's just a fun necklace. And I think it's an easy version of kind of the piece that I was referring to that we will make in part 2 of this show, which I'll get scheduled for February. Now this piece, and this is the kind of necklace. So the bead strand assortments that I used for the other necklace that I showed you, the pinks and purples, they're perfect for these kinds of designs because you get everything that kind of goes together. But I put all of these together myself. So the big beads here are a 10 millimeter fire polish in round olivine AB. So you could get the olivine without the AB, but I loved the AB just because there's so much other metallic stuff going on here. I thought it was pretty cool with the AB finish. Then I used for the beads in between the 10 millimeter and at the base here. Actually, yeah, the base all around this part here, those are Drux, and they're 8 millimeter rounds, and they are a green iris. So they have their own unique finish, sort of mystical vibe, which goes, I think, really nicely with that AB vibe going on up there. Then, and here's an alternate for those bigger beads. If you don't want AB, this is also a pretty color that would go. This is olivine without the AB. So it's gorgeous. So if you don't want that AB finish, you got enough mystical stuff going on, otherwise mystical, magical stuff going on, then you don't necessarily need to do the AB. The fire polish here are a copper color, which I thought was fun to throw in kind of a mixed look. And this is actually called Halo Ethereal Cherub Fire Polish. It's a 6 millimeter, and to me, it looks very copper, but it is supposed to be a little bit red-ish. So it has more of a reddish copper look to it, but I thought, again, it looked really interesting and unique with all of the combination of beads that we have going on here. Now, at the bottom, I thought, let's add some metallic. Now, you could do beads down here. We're going to do beads in our design today. These are 20 millimeter satin Hamilton gold plated brass dagger spikes. And they're not sharp. They're soft on the ends, but they look pretty crazy good. Like they look so elegant and rich because of that Hamilton satin gold. Really cool. So this is just one way that you can kind of take the bottom of your piece and add more. So more is more with these, in my opinion. You want to find some beautiful beads that you can showcase. You want movements. You want all kinds of fun stuff, but you can create this with just about any idea that you have in your head. So I'm going to show you just a couple of other quick things that you might want to think about, and then we'll make one. Now, I told you I think that the bead strand assortments are great for something like this. This one is, I don't have the name of this one, or do I? I actually don't. But this is Czech Mix INS/4. And I think this may have been, this is one of, when Taylor Swift released her album, we did some Swiftie inspired versions of our strands. I think this might be one of them. And I love this because this pile, and I cut up one of the strands, this pile could easily come together in something like this. There's no real large beads here, but you could make a much, a scaled down version with smaller beads of this ladder design. So the beads all go together in that one. So that's another one of the positives of, getting one of those Czech strand assortments. Now, I also wanted to show you some silver spikes that are a little bit smaller. So if you don't like the big spikes, there's some smaller ones, and these are Artbeads sterling silver spike charms. And I don't have the size on these on my package, but look at them. They're essentially the same kind of thing, but look at the difference in size. So if you were to go smaller scale with your design, smaller case with your, or smaller scale with your beads, you might want to go with a smaller spike if you like that spike thing. And let's see, Susie says, what were the 3 attached beads called that made the ladder rung? If you're looking for what beads they are the 10 millimeter. They are the 10 millimeter AB finish olivine fire polish, but I'm just calling them, links, because all they are wire wrapped links. So we're going to make this. We're going to do this fun things. Oh, thank you, Michelle. The silver spike is 10.5 by 3.5 millimeters. So these are much larger. If you like that larger look, those bigger ones are for you. And I think the bigger ones are in limited stock. Okay, so I've got a bunch of Czech glass that we're going to use for our strung ladder necklace. I've got a bunch of purples. So I'm wearing purple today because I wanted to work with purple beads to make this ladder necklace. So I'm going to show you all of the things that I pulled out. And I even pulled out some silver because I thought silver would look pretty nice with this. And here's an alternative to the spikes. These are also in limited stock, but these are by Tierra Cast. Let me get these in my hand so you can see them. These are column charms, and they're super cool. So they have kind of a little antique vibe. So if you don't like the spiky look, this is a little different, but also has that same kind of like look of the dangles, but the dangles that might hang and also dangles that are metallic versus a bead. So this is another option. I'm going to hold those off to the side because I'm not going to actually rule out using those. And there's only 12 of those left. So if you like those, make sure you put those in your cart and check out before the end of the show. Now, for my continuity, I love to work with seed beads for spacers. So this is also one of my faves. This is an 11-0 seed bead, and it is metallic silver. Look how bright this silver is. So it's very much like this silver here. Very bright, very bold, and we're going to use that as our spacer throughout the design. So what I'm going to do is, this is where the hard part's going to come in, working in a cardboard box. If you joined a little bit late, I had a little failure with my camera light setup. And I had my dear husband, rigged up a cardboard box for me to put my light on. My light is just kind of leaning on it. And so I'm not seeing things the way that I normally can see them. And I know my lighting is not quite as normal as it usually is. So it's not as good as I would like it. So I may miss some comments. So if Michelle and so I'm hoping Michelle and Thaisa can help you guys out. If you have questions along the way, I'll do my best, but it's tough to see what I'm doing in this box. So I'm paying more attention to trying to get all of this in front of you. And that purple, I think I might leave that as an option. So this is a gorgeous bead right here. This is called Cobalt Vega. Look at that. Oh my goodness. It's like a blurple, like a combination of the blues and purples, but it's got like a really cool finish on it. Laura Rang says it's Deb's fault. I love demi rounds now. That is another option for this, for your spacers. So I'm glad I'm bringing some of you over to the demi-round side because they are great spacers. Like, they are a fantastic spacer. All right, let me get all of these beads out. And I just lost one on the floor. We'll get that later. So getting all of these, I'm hoping I can have enough space here to work in. These are gorgeous beads too. Look at these. Oh my goodness. These are like so like glamorous. Oh, so I suggest with a necklace like this that you really, just put out there all that you've got, some sparkle, some texture, some metal, some everything. Just add a little bit of everything for this, because this necklace is supposed to be fun and it's supposed to be dramatic. And I think you're going to have fun creating this one. Now I'm digging these purple daggers. And I think we're going to use some of those at the bottom of our piece. So I know this is going to kind of all crowded in here. We're going to do the best we can to show you this. So I'm going to open up my seed beads, and I'm going to actually put my seed beads a little bit towards the bottom of the screen because I'm going to be reaching for those the most. I'm going to be using some 19 strand beading wire by Beadalon. There should be some 19 strand beading wire in the show. And when we get to the part where we create our rungs on the ladder, I'm going to be using some, here it is, some 22 gauge artistic wire. I've also got some wire in the show today, so we'll be using that. 22 gauge is kind of perfect for this design. So I'm going to be working from the package, and I normally work with the package off to my right. So I've got a little hole in my cardboard off to the side. So we're gonna work with that. So I'm gonna start from the center. So I'm gonna start from that bottom section on our design. And let me grab the sample to show you what I mean. So I'm going to be starting from this bottom section. So we're going to get this situated because everything, our two ends of the necklace are going to go up the sides, and we're going to create those rungs of the ladder on either side. So I'm going to put on a seed bead, and then I'm going to put on a dagger bead, and then I'm going to put on another seed bead. So my daggers and beads here, all the beads in this bottom section are going to be surrounded by a seed bead. So let's see, there you can see that like that. Then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with, I'm kind of thinking maybe I'm going to grab these guys for my links. So these will be my rungs. And I think these beads will go up the, up either side of the necklace. And I think what I want to do is, I think I want to add these guys at the bottom. So we're just going to put these beautiful sparkly beads down here at the bottom. So I'm really stretching here to see what I'm doing. These beads actually feel a little bit big to me. So guess what? I'm going to go with these. We're going to go crazy. We're going to use those blurple beads. So that is what we're going to do. And this just should be just wild and crazy fun necklace. And you can decide. So you've got some design choices here where you can decide how many beads you want in this bottom section, how you want your beads to be spaced. If you're using demi-rounds, you might want to use more than one demi-round in between your beads. It's just up to you, but you can decide how you want this bottom section to look. well, the whole thing, frankly, but just, you know, for starters, that's a decision if you want this to be a large loop or a smaller loop. You've got lots of options. And another idea for you, if you don't like the daggers, is you can take these gorgeous flower beads and you can put them on head pins, and these could be they could be hanging down in between your beads. So if you want to go not so rock and roll, but a little bit more, you know, feminine and sweet, you can go with these gorgeous flower beads, which look at the finish on those guys. They are incredible. So let me get my bottom section finished up here. And these Vega beads, I'm thinking of a movie. Oh, I've got more than one seed bead there. I'm thinking of a character in a movie. Has anybody seen the movie Pulp Fiction? Vincent Vega. That's what comes to mind for me. One of my favorite movies, crazy. But that is so cool together. So we've got a bunch of different shades of purple here. And I think I've talked about this before on shows. If you think, you know, you don't have two colors that go together, like you start to put a couple of colors together and you think there's no way those go together. Well, when you start to add more colors to the mix, you might be surprised, because when you add more shades, they amazingly, magically go together. So if you're staying in the same color family, it is amazing how these beads can actually just all play together super nicely. So I like an uneven number of my dangly beads. So whether you're using metal or you're using wire wrapped beads or you're using long beads like these that are top drilled, an uneven number I think is best for this kind of design. It just kind of makes it look, it makes it look like it has some symmetry. So I'm just checking how my loop might look here. And so I'm actually going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'm going to use 7. I think that's what I want to do here. So get on these last few beads and we'll see how that looks. And then we're going to create our links, because we need our rungs for the ladder. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and one more dagger. So let me grab, and I apologize, I'm probably going to be off camera here or there because of the cardboard box situation. So I like that. I like that look right there. So that's going to be my loop at the bottom, or my bottom section of this design. So the next thing I want to do is I want to actually end, I want to end on a seed bead. So when I cut from the package, I'm going to add another seed bead over here. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set this aside for the moment. And I think I decided I was going to do these guys for my rungs in the ladder. These are gorgeous. This is a fire polish bead. It is 8 millimeters and it's opaque light something. I don't have the rest of the description. It's probably like a light purple or lavender or something like that. It's very lavender to me. It's beautiful, and it's got a matte look. So remember, we're going with all kinds of different textures and finishes. So we've got all kinds of stuff going on with this. We've got a few different shapes, and I'm just cutting off my wire. So I'm using my my cutters to cut off, you know, a few inches of the 22 gauge wire for each one of my ladder steps or my ladder rungs. And I think I'm going to do, how many did I do for this other necklace? So this guy, I did 5. So this piece, I did 5. And I think for this one, I'll do 5. So I've got 1, 2, 3, I've got 5 pieces of wire there. If we feel like we need more, we can add those. So what I'm going to do is create a wire wrap loop. So I'm going to come in with my round nose pliers, and I want to stay pretty small. I want my loops to be pretty small at the ends. And just going to do a couple of wraps around there. So let's see, a couple of wraps in the box, in the cardboard box. That's challenging. Okay, that's not perfect, but I'm gonna get it closer up to my face. So that's actually 3 wraps, but that's okay. I'll do 3 wraps for each of these. So straightening that out, and then I'm going to cut off my excess wire, holding that wire so that it doesn't go flying. And then I'm going to come in with my chain nose and just kind of flatten out that end, which I'm going to have to do off camera, guys, because the cardboard box is giving me a challenge. All right, so I've got my loop there. My wire wrap loop. I'm going to put the bead on, and then I'm going to do a wire wrap loop on the other side. And I want my loop to be pretty close in sizing and wraps so that all of the rungs on my ladder are the same or pretty close, pretty darn close. So I'm going to go around, wrap around like so, and then I'm going to cut off my excess there. And then once I've got my bead wrapped, I can just kind of tuck in my ends. Trying to see those. There we go. And I want them to be facing in the same direction. So if you've got a round bead like this, you don't necessarily have to worry about which side is going to be visible because it's round, but you can hold and you can use another plier on this side, or you can use your fingers and just make sure that your 2 loops are facing in the same direction. So I'm going to do 5 more or 4 more. So I'll do that now. Now, just a little word to the wise. So if you guys are using different beads than I'm using, so if you're creating with a larger bead or with a different shaped bead, so I'll show you in 1 second. I'm doing this a little bit off camera because of my cardboard box situation. If you missed the beginning of the show, my camera stand and light stand had a catastrophic failure this morning. And so I have everything on top of my cardboard box here that my husband created for me. So I'm inside a cardboard box trying to see what I'm doing here. I know what I was saying. So if you are using a different size bead or a different shape bead, it will matter in terms of how you put your piece together. So when we add our beads onto the necklace, I'll show you what I mean, but you'll just want to make sure that everything doesn't, like all the beads don't bump into each other. So if you have 2 pliers and you want to straighten out those links, there you go. And you can also do a little bit of adjusting that. Julia, I'm all boxed in. Yes, ma'am, I am. So here in this sample, I used some oval beads. So what I needed to make sure was that the beads in between were going to offer enough room for these beads not to be all bunched up together. Now they're very close to each other, but they're not causing a problem. And that's kind of the same for your dangles too. So in this case, I use leaves that are on head pins, and you'll want to make sure in that bottom section that your beads are spaced out enough, you're spacing out your dangles enough that they're not going to bump into each other. You really want this to be kind of a fanned effect down here. So just throwing that out, there for you guys. So this is, I probably should have done all of this wrapping ahead of time. So Michelle and Thaisa are going to be hanging a little bit longer. Hopefully you guys can hang a little bit longer with me today. Just gonna wrap off camera to get this one done really quickly. Now, when we do our second show, because I promise you we will do a part 2 to this, we're gonna do some fun things with more than one bead. So we're gonna do more than one bead for our rungs. And I think that will be fun and interesting and show you all of the variations that you can do with this kind of a concept. So let me quickly fix this guy up, tuck in my ends off camera. Sorry about that. I'm going to straighten out my links. I've got 3. Let's do 2 more here. So we're going to do 5 rungs on the ladder. I did one the other day. Well, maybe a couple weeks ago now. I did one with beads not from Artbeads. It was just me playing around in my studio. I grabbed some little gemstones and some vintage beads, and I did one with 5, but the beads, the rungs on the ladder are really big and the beads are really small. So there's just so many different things that you can do with this concept that will make your piece different. So use your imagination. If you guys like this concept, you like this style of making, the style of necklace, gosh, there's so many different things you can do. So I was just kind of playing around with ideas. And when I put this couple of samples together, I really just started to get my mind going on so many other ways that you can actually put something like this together. So your options are endless, friends. They really are. So if you're looking for a fun statement necklace or something that seems a little bit more low-key version of this, there are so many fun beads to work with, so many fun accents, so many fun dangles. And I know all of you serious art beaters are going to come up with some fun stuff here. So I really like making links. It's one of my relaxation things. Just getting this wrap fixed up down here off camera. Sorry about that. I like to make links. I think there's something very relaxing about that. And once you make your links, there's so many things you can do with them. So it's just fun, just a fun thing. All right, this is my last wrap. So I would recommend, if you know what you're going to do, so if you have your plan, if you laid out your whole necklace, you would probably want to wrap all of these in advance, because then once you know what you're doing, you can just put all of these right onto your wire and call it a day. Like, it's super easy. So let me just straighten out my links here. This last pair of links on this ladder. And now I've got all of my ladder rungs right here. So now let me get I've got all these little pieces of wires. I need to set those aside. Some of them are too small to keep, but I'm going to put them into my pile to reuse at a later date. All right, so now I'm going to switch up the beads. So in our sample here, which is now caught on my pliers, in our sample here, we transition from the bottom section to our ladder section. So the whole rungs on the necklace. So what I'm going to do is add a different bead here with seed beads in between, and then start to put on our links to make this, this ladder piece come to life. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the metallic beads here. So I'm going to use these Drucks. I really like these silver ones. This is actually a great staple for you guys to have in your craft room, bead room. These are 6mm silver round beads, and they are gorgeous. So they're just a great staple to have. I would get a few of those strands because you never know when you're going to need them. All right, so I'm going to take my link on my loop on one side, put that onto the strand. So we're just doing one side now. So we're just stringing on the one side, and I want to test out, before I show you too closely, I want to test out if we only need one bead in between. Let's see. I think that will work. So let's take a look at this up close. So here's what I did. We transitioned from, you know what? I didn't finish off on a Vega bead, which I wanted to do. So let's take this off. Sorry about that. I thought I added a Vega bead over here. I did not. So I'm going to put that Vega bead on, then a seed bead. No, that's wrong. All right, let's get this right. So Vega bead after the last dagger, then a seed bead, and then our round silver bead. These silver beads are perfection. All right, so then we're going to transition to our section of ladder rungs, and I'm going to do a seed bead between each bead, including around that loop on our rung. And the loop should sit in there pretty nicely. Let's see, we'll just look at that first one. So you see I've got my Vega there, then my seed bead, then my round, then the first loop on, then the seed bead, then the first loop. So then you guys, we're just going to add the rest of our links. So the next loop, and if you can make your loops a little bit smaller on your links, that works too. I mean, if you want to get them a little bit smaller, maybe your round nose, you can get a much smaller grip on those. You might have some pliers that will get you a smaller loop at the end. That will help with those guys sitting nicely in between your seed beads. So let's put that guy there. And then another seed bead. I'm sorry if I am off camera at moments, you guys. I apologize. Doing the best I can here today. And let's see, gonna go with another seed bead, and then I've got my link, and then I'm gonna have one more link after this one. So another seed bead, and then another silver bead. And I need to get all of these daggers out of here because they are in my way. So, and this is, this is again a preference. So if you want to do a ladder that is shorter or longer, you can do that. So here we've got the makings of our ladder. So we're going to finish going up this side at least part way, just so we can get the look of it, and then we'll finish and start making that attachment. I'm going to do that sooner rather than later because I really want you to see how this is coming together. But let me move these daggers out of the way because they are giving me a problem over here. So let me put those off to the other side of my workstation here. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to end on a silver because I started on a silver. So there's a silver and then my section of rungs. And did I finish with a seed bead there? I did not. So I'm going to add a seed bead, add a silver bead, and then add another seed bead. Thank you, Texas Tracy. You are the sweetest. Okay, so this is kind of they're all going to go like this. And now we're going to go up one side of the necklace. And I'm just going to add a few beads to get us started. And then we'll work on the other side so you can start to see how this is going to look. So I'm going to progress to this bead now. And this one is, if I can find the name of this one I love as well. This is another gorgeous bead, 8mm Milky Pink Moon Dust round bead. So another beautiful Czech bead with some cool finish on it. And it's a purple tone. So it's gonna go nicely with these. And then I'm gonna put one of these guys on. So this incredible AB sparkler, crazy good. Oh my gosh. I don't know why, but for some reason, that bead makes me think of Bridgerton. Anybody, any Bridgerton fans here? The new season of Bridgerton is coming and I'm so excited about that. So that bead for some reason just makes me think of Bridgerton. So that's going to be our pattern going up the necklace. So what I'm going to do, you guys, if you give me a second off camera, is I'm going to pull the wire to about the length that I think we're going to need on both sides. So I don't run out of wire. And then I'm going to cut from the package. So give me 1 second and I'm going to cut from this package and show you how this is going to come together. So I'm going to hold on to this guy and get us situated so you can see what I'm doing there. So let me get my wire out of the way. Now on this side, I need to add the Vega so that we've got the same pattern. So we're ending with the Vega in this section and then another seed bead. And then we're going to introduce the silver bead. And I'm going to grab a seed bead. And then I'm going to grab that first link. So I'm going to pull that one over and get my wire situated. I'm going to go up through. My wire's a little kinked there. I'm going to go up through that first rung of my ladder. And that looks pretty cool. Now it's not going to be perfectly shaped just yet because it's not all together just yet. But I am going to grab a bead stopper because I can normally do this without one, but given the current situation in the cardboard box, I'm just going to add that just in case. Just in case, because we are out of the norm here. Okay. So I've got my little loop down here and we're going to add another seed bead. So it's important to add the seed beads because they're adding a little bit of space. They're kind of keeping everything together. They're that continuity that we need. So adding the bead then adding the seed bead, and then I'm going to go through that next link. So let's get through that guy. And that's starting to come together. So you can see how this is going to look. Now, there's so many decision points in each step of this design, but you see these beads are kind of small. Oops, my pliers just went on the floor. These beads in the center are kind of small compared to the some of the other samples I used or I created. They're kind of small. So you might want a larger bead in this case. You might want a larger bead for this little rung section, the actual ladder section, if that makes sense. So you might want a more dramatic look, but there is something to be said for you're creating some interesting dimension. The pliers have escaped, they have. You're getting some dimension here. You're getting something interesting. I mean, it's just all about creating something fun, and each one of these necklaces can be its own little work of art. So get through this. Once we get through this center section, it's a little bit easier to wrap it up and get her done. So put that seed bead on, and then another one of our silver beads. These silver beads look so beautiful with this. I love silver and purple together, but I also like purple and gold together. And if you start to pick up different shades of purple, you might even want gold versus silver, just depending on what look you're going for. Okay, look at that, you guys. Okay, I'm going to bring this up a little bit closer to the camera so you can see. So that's our little ladder section. Super fun. I love how that looks. Just cool. So look at just in what we've done so far. We've got so much movement, different colors, different finishes. Thank you for the hearts, you guys. So fun. So let me come up, and I'm just going to finish off this section and get the same beads on. We did add one more silver bead on the other side. So I'm going to do that, and then we start adding our other purple beads. So this guy, and these are a little bit bigger. So we're going from small to kind of medium and small to a larger bead, which is perfectly fine. I think oftentimes we get stuck in this mentality that you have to have larger beads at the bottom, or things have to be a certain way. They do not. There are no rules. I mean, there's very few rules in jewelry making, you guys. Very few. So I want you to think about this as it's just open to you and your imagination on how you want to put this together. So I think I've got 2 more beads on there, and then I'll show this up to you a little bit closer so you can see how this top part is coming together. And I think it's really cool. And I think all of these things absolutely work together once they are all together. Like, they don't look like they would be all together, but they look fabulous together. So that is so cool. We've got some movement in those daggers, so much fun. And if you wanted, instead of, I've got 7 of them, if you wanted to do 5, you'd have a smaller section here down at the bottom. But again, it's all about what you want to do. So I'm not going to do anything. Actually, you know what I might do here? So I've got 3 of one bead and 2 of the other. I think I might mix it up, and to bring the silver back in, put one of the silver beads on there, and then do another pattern of that same set of beads. And I'm going to start with this guy. If I can see it, trying to see it. There we go. So I ended that section with the dark, and then bringing in the silver, and then starting again with the dark, and then I'll add the light again and do one more section, and then we'll switch over to the other side and match that up. When I'm designing on the fly or creating something for the first time, that's how I do things, is I'll just kind of start working up one side and then stop and work up the other side. So that's just kind of how I like to do it. And you could do the whole one side if you want, and then finish that off and go to the other side. Totally up to you. So I'm going to take my bead stopper, move it over, and then let's do what we did over here. See if you guys can still see that. I'm going to move this up just a little bit, and we'll match this side up, bringing a little silver bead in. And if you wanted to, you could certainly bring more silver into the whole design. You could add silver in between all of the beads. Actually, I'm not ending on the right bead there. Let's get our right bead going. Unless you want an asymmetrical vibe there. So let's get this guy on, and then our silver bead. So that guy, now our silver. So you could do the silver spread throughout, and that would bring the silver up through that way, but you can decide. It's all about what you want to do. And if you have a bead strand assortment, so I think I saw Santa Barbara Girl said you need a pink version of the ladder necklace. I have the two kind of pink purple versions I showed from the bead strand assortments that we had earlier in the year. And those bead strand assortments make it so easy because everything just goes together. So you could pick out your own beads, or you can get a bead strand assortment and everything just kind of plays nicely together. And I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. I hope nobody gets mad, but there's some new bead strand assortments coming. I think there might be some in Julie's show tomorrow, and there's going to be some in my show on Monday. So for those of you who love our bead strand assortments here at artbeads.com, you are in for a treat. Okay, I'm going to grab another bead stopper. Bear with me one sec. Okay, I'm going to put another bead stopper here, and I'm going to show you how this is coming together. So this is what we got, you guys. This is our piece. It is so fabulous. Now, because we are just over an hour and we've got the most of this completed, I am going to finish this up off camera because it's just been a little tougher for me because of my setup today to go as fast as I can go normally. But I want to show you this. What I promise you are a few things. One is I will post the finished piece in the Serious Art Beaters Facebook group. If you're not a member of that, go to Facebook, go up to the browser and type in hashtag Serious Art Beaters, and you will find this probably tomorrow. I need to finish this up and I need to get a good picture in good light. So we'll do that. Another thing I promise you is we will do another version of the ladder style, completely different, somewhere between this kind of thing and the one I showed at the top of the show, which is this guy. So some chain and some beads. It's going to be somewhere in between these two, but it's going to be completely different. A little bit more on the difficult side, just a lot of fiddly things with that one. So we'll be doing that. I promise you I'll get that show set up for February. So give me 1 second. I'm going to turn the camera around and come over. I'm working on in a cardboard box today because of my crazy camera failure this morning. So here's our piece, you guys. Pull it out of there. And this is what we've got so far, you guys. And I will finish this up, like I said, and show this to you while I'm showing this off. If you guys have things in your cart, please don't forget to check out. So some of the things were in limited stocks. So I want to make sure you can get those things home to you. This is such a fun piece. I'll show you again. This green one that I made is finished. This one is really, really cool, really fun. I really want you guys to cast aside all of your, your rules in your head about jewelry making and just go with whatever you feel. Try some new things. There's so many ideas out there, and it's just as, where your brain can take you. So thank you guys for being patient with me. I think I'm going to get used to this until my new camera setup gets here, but I'm so excited that you stuck with me today and hung out. I promise you all of the things, we'll get a finished picture for you, a finished video, and we'll do a part 2 in February, and we'll do something even more fun with this. So I loved hanging out with you guys today. I hope you have a wonderful time. Julie Bean is tomorrow morning, and I'll be back Monday morning, and I've got a fun show planned for you. I'm super excited about it. I'll see you all Monday and on the socials in between. Bye, guys. Have a great weekend.